We are back at it with another episode of the Nick vs. Everyone podcast. And with me today is someone not that important. Back on the podcast for the second time. It's Rachel. There's no one.
I'm the second timer.
There's no one clapping or wooing.
Woo!
And so yeah, Rachel, a little update on where Rachel's at. She is, let's just call it 18 weeks. Prego, bun in the of,
Bumping it.
popping like it's hot. Because her stomach popped. She's showing.
Slowly.
She's showing.
It looks like I ate 2 big cheeseburgers. I think. Or it looks like I need to take a big poop.
Rachel, the people can hear this.
Yes, and they should know. That's what it looks like sometimes.
I don't think it looks like that.
Right now it looks like a belly.
Yep. She looks like a 50-year-old Filipino that's hot and male. And they just put their stomach up and their belly's just showing like that.
Yeah, male.
Yeah.
Not a female.
But yeah, Rachel is 18 weeks prego my ego, and we just had a ultrasound. Was it last week?
Yep, last week,
which was a super fun experience. It wasn't a doctor visit. We just found some place down in
when I say we,
it's Rachel. Private ultrasound. It was pretty sweet. You go in there and it was like a spa. It was like you're about to get a massage.
Yeah, they had the lights off, make it a whole vibe.
The vibe.
And then there's like a big projector showing the ultrasound, a little TV for other people. You can bring family. Yeah, we saw the baby. She was sleeping for a little bit.
And then we woke her ass up. That's what we did.
Until the coffee hit.
Yeah.
Then she started moving.
Yeah.
She didn't move that much. She was just stretching.
Yeah. She was like, well, I guess if I should do something because...
She didn't want to say hi this time.
Yeah, it was cool because I guess they can do like a live stream. So next podcast, live stream at the ultrasound. With me today, baby. No, it was pretty cool. You can pay to show like a 2D, like a regular 2D photo, or a 3D, and I guess they can do 4D. Like
there's 4D, and then there's HD. It's a lot.
Dang, and it's a girl, so no D. But yeah, the person was like super, super nice, and we paid for just the 2D, and she gave us a couple 3D photos of the baby, and yeah, it was super, super cool. I'd definitely do it again. Rachel was wanting to do it for the longest, but it was pretty cool, yeah.
Well, because we haven't seen her since 11 weeks. That's been a long time, and now she got actual toes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Long legs.
Yeah, she do got some long legs.
We could see her face.
Yeah.
So it was different.
It looked like she had my chin.
Square jaw. And then in 2 weeks, we have our other ultrasound.
Where they do the anatomy scans.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're both, I'm not short, but I was short when I was younger. And Rachel's short. So they're going to be like, She's going to have Filipino legs, those short, little, strong, stumpy legs, good for climbing mountains and eating rice.
Eating rice.
Yeah, I can't wait. But we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of go back to when it all, our adventure in California started, and talk about uh, moving out together. And not only just moving out together, but moving to California from Michigan, and what that experience was like. Um, so, yeah, how long were we officially dating?
6 months. But we
Oof.
knew each other prior to that for 6 months. So technically we knew each other for a year.
Yeah. And I remember I was working at this other place, and Rachel was like, all right, we're going to put it out into the universe. We're moving out by August, whether we have jobs or not. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That doesn't make much sense at all. She said, no, it's going to happen. We moving out there in August. And I was like, all right, well, I've always wanted to live in California. And so did you.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right.
Well, yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Because that's when I moved back from the Philippines and I was like, I need to move to LA.
Yeah.
For more opportunities. So,
yeah, YouTube opportunities. And so, yeah, I eventually was lucky enough to score a job out here in Santa Barbara. And we're like, all right, here we go. So I got the word that I was offered the job, said my goodbyes, and packed my car in about a week.
that was in June, not August.
Yeah, so this was June, so earlier than the deadline this one gave us. And packed up the car, and then took about 5
His little car.
Little car, yeah. Little Chevy Trax.
Little bean.
And just took mostly clothes, a TV,
and dishes.
Some dishes.
All the mugs.
We shouldn't have took any of that.
You took all the mugs. There's 2 of us, and you brought like 8.
Yeah, I could have got like a 4-pack for like $5 at the dollar store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we took clothes, a TV, a couple pots and pans, some dishes, some cups, some silverware.
Mm-hmm. That was like it.
And maybe a blanket. No, I don't think we brought like blankets or anything.
We didn't even have a mattress.
We didn't even have a mattress. Nothing. And so we drove all the way across the U.S. We stopped in Omaha, Nebraska. Nothing. And then we stopped in Colorado, which was cool to see family and stuff. And then we stopped. What was the park?
Zion.
Yeah. Zion National Park for like 3 hours. So we got to see that for like 3 hours. We did like a super short
Where is that,
hike.
in Utah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we went to Vegas and then California. So on the way from Vegas to California, we didn't go through LA. We went through the north side, which is like by the mountains. And like for, let's say there was 2.5 hours left in the drive. For about 2 hours of that 2.5 hours, it was like not tight at all. Do you remember that?
Because of the desert?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was weird. You were like, oh no, where are we going?
It was like dusty, and like there was like some farm stuff going on, and it was like.
Well, I was driving that part, I think. So I just thought it was cool because I've never seen desert. So I was like, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't anything fantastic whatsoever. It was kind of a little rough. like not that cool. And I was like, oof, what are we getting ourselves into? We had no idea what Santa Barbara was. So we're like, well, hope it gets better, but this is looking a little rough.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the last 30 minutes, we finally got to the coast. We're going up the 101. And then we saw the mountains and the water. And we are just like, this is actually pretty freaking sweet.
That's actually where I got nervous.
You're like, oh, it's real now.
No, I was like scared because we didn't see our place beforehand. So as we were getting closer into there, like the surroundings to me at first didn't look that nice. So I was like, oh no, where are we living?
Yeah, we found this place luckily online, applied for it. It was like one of the cheapest things that we could find. It was newly furnished, but it was very, very small. It was a box, and it was probably the size of a little bit bigger than like
A bedroom.
how many square feet was it? It was small. It was like 400 or something stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that doesn't.
Yeah, because this one right now is 800.
This place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it was just a little bit bigger than this room.
Yeah, it was super small. So it was a studio, and the kitchen was right there. The living room, the dining room was all in this box. It had a little teeny bathroom, but we kind of had to find it quickly, and it was like the only place that was reasonably priced because all of the apartments out here are crazy expensive. In the beginning, it was just like my job, and you were like trying to find a job. So we're like, all right, let's just get this place. At least it doesn't look run down. It's like newly like redone, but it's just small. So we pull up to it and we open up the place, and we're like, all right, well, here we go.
Yeah, pulling up to it, I was like, oh my goodness, what am I getting myself into?
You get a panic attack. I just moved with this dude across the country.
I've only been with him for 6 months. I have no job.
No job.
I used all my savings.
Yeah.
To move out here. And now I'm in a box.
And now she's in a box with no bed.
Yep. Nothing, only dishes.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy for sure. And then we went to Target, and we were like amazed by the Target because it was a two-story.
Amazed.
I was amazed. Okay, we weren't. I was. It was a 2-story Target where you could take the cart and put it up the escalator. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? It's magic. You just push it in there, and it like brings it up with you, and just like you walk up next to it.
Yeah.
And we got an air mattress because through Rachel's social media, she got a free bed sponsored. So we were waiting for it to come in, remember? Mm-hmm. And you were trying to time it up to where like get there.
Well, it's because I didn't email them. I emailed them like halfway through when we were driving, and I didn't realize it was going to take long. Oh. So yeah, like I think I signed the contract and everything when we got here at the McDonald's. So I was like, oh. That was poor timing on me.
So we ended up going to Target, getting a few things, and getting an air mattress. So living in a box, really small box, air mattress. I'm about to start a new job in like a day or two.
We would eat on the air mattress, and that was so annoying because every time I would sit on one side, try to eat, then Nick would come and sit on the other side, and it would make me bounce up. Yeah, it was so annoying. Oh man, those are good times though.
Yeah. And so slowly but surely, we bought some things off Facebook, and we didn't have a whole bunch of money. And so we just like made it work. Mm-hmm. we experienced our first
Earthquake.
earthquake there. I was
It was
looking
like
up.
2 mini earthquakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I remember the first one. It felt like I was gonna pass out, like because like everything was moving right, and we've never been in an earthquake before, and so I thought I was just like getting dizzy and about to pass out, and then it like stopped, and
Because it wasn't strong enough where everything was moving. It was just very slightly where you
yeah.
would move a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And also, when I first got here, um, I had to take this test to officially get hired. So you're like kind of on probation, and if you pass the test, then you keep your job, and you have like 3 tries at passing the test. Otherwise, you're like fired. So when I started my job, the first 2 months was me like working, getting done at like 4, and then going home, eating real quick, and then like studying for 2, 3, 4 hours at night. So I wasn't much fun because I had to study for this test, and we didn't really get to experience like our surroundings that much.
I don't really remember what happened that whole time you were studying. Like, I don't know what I was doing or where I
Hmm.
was. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have any memory of that.
yeah. I think you were sad.
Oh, yeah, that's so sad. Oh no, I was sad. Oh, that makes me sad. No, yeah, I was sad. I was like calling my sister and crying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so emotional.
Okay, anyway.
So perfect start. No, you were lonely because I was at work. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I come home, I was studying, and I was like, all right, well, it's
Because
either
I
I.
didn't have a job either, so I felt useless, and I was like that for a month. I was
Mhm.
just making content and then watching like 90 Day Fiance. That was it.
That was my life. I'd cry too, for sure.
Yeah, but I was so used to like hanging around my sister and stuff and my
Yeah.
family.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden I was in a different state by myself and you were gone.
Yeah.
So it was like almost like culture shock in a
Hmm.
way.
Yeah, but then you eventually got a job
Mm-hmm.
and kind of started to settle in and stuff like that. Um, but I feel like we pretty much like gelled like from the beginning
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Like when you move in with somebody, like it's one thing to like be around them and see them all the time and just like hang out all the time at each other's places, but like living with each other, you find out all the like everything about them as far as their annoying stuff that they do or things that you don't like. You find out real quick the things that you don't like.
Yeah. But I think the best part about it was because it's not like everything was rainbows and like sunshine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was times where I would get annoyed or upset for no reason. But it's
Still
like,
do, but keep going.
okay, but it's not like that. Like looking back at that now, I'm like, oof, like why were you acting like that? You
Uh,
know? But it's like I was able to like adapt and learn and change, which helps,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
during like a time where emotions are high and stuff. And
mm,
you're like living with someone,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I feel like I'm a pretty much straight shooter, so there wasn't like if you felt a certain way or I felt a certain way, it wasn't like, hey, I'm just gonna sweep this underneath the rug. It was just like, all right, let's address this right away.
Yeah, and I'm not like that. Like
Yeah.
I will just bottle it up. But I also think what worked for you more is that you've been on your own
Hmm.
before.
Hmm.
Like you moved out and you've been living on your own for I don't know how long. But
Yeah.
like all I did was go to the Philippines, but I was with my cousin.
Yeah.
So this is my first time like leaving home,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a pretty good person to like live with because I'm like a clean person. Like I clean up after myself and all that good stuff, and like don't want to be an inconvenience to anybody. So I feel in that aspect, as far as like chores and things, I'm really good at doing my own stuff, and so are you.
Is that what people fight about the most?
I feel
Like,
like
what are the most common things people like fight about or like would cause conflict?
I think that like when you live with someone, it's about being like considerate of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so like people get annoyed when like someone else is not considering like them in their decisions. So like if they're playing music really loud and they have to get up in the morning, or they're not cleaning their dishes, or they're just being messy and like in like common areas like the living room, and their crap's all over the place, and like I want to sit on the couch but all your crap's here, and you just
Mm-hmm.
like don't care about anybody else but yourself.
Yeah. But I think what's more crazy is that our place was a box. So it's not
Yeah.
like you could be like, hey, I'm going to go to the living room so I can have my own space and watch TV, you know? Like there was no living room.
Yeah,
There
there's
was
no
no,
escape.
yeah, like you would just go outside if you
Hmm.
needed to breathe. I would go in the bathroom sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever noticed or if I ever told you or like you picked up on that, but like,
No. No.
there's times where I was like just like overstimulated maybe,
Hmm.
or I'm like, okay, this is enough. Like I need to be by myself.
And I'm like,
I don't know, but like I just wanted to be by myself because I'm like used to having my own room.
Mhm.
So I would just go in the bathroom and just turn on some music and just sit there in the little bathroom.
Pretend like you're doing your hair and your makeup or something.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. Smart move.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's nowhere else to go.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. I don't really like my. I guess the negative parts about the beginning had nothing to do with you and had everything to do with like outside things.
like your test.
My test, learning a new job, my car getting hit.
Like it was more stressful than it was just you like, oh wow, this is a new place. I'm gonna explore and enjoy this time, you know, the first
Yeah.
few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all my negative parts were like things that were like, oh, I'm living with this person now, like wasn't even on my mind at all ever.
Mm-hmm.
But you were also like not selfish either. So like if I like said something, like you would like we were both had like high respect for each other, I feel like.
Give me an example. Because I
Like
don't know what.
like if I was just like if something was off, be like, hey, can you do this like for now on and forever? You're like, all right.
Oh, I think that's what I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah.
Like if there were certain things that I would do that seemed like out of bounds and you'd be like, hey,
Hmm.
you're a little crazy right now. And I'd be like, oh, let me think about that. And then I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
Word for word.
Pretty much.
You're psychopath right now.
Pretty
I would never
much.
say.
In my head, that's what it sounded like.
As she has the computer on, she's crying, watching with like chips next to her. 90 Day Fiance, just eating. I'm just like, and I'm like slaving on this computer, like trying to study.
Yeah.
No. Um, and then so yeah, like I feel like I don't know. I didn't have any freak out moments like what did I do? It was more like I have a mission and I don't have time to think about that stuff. It's kind of my
Mm,
looking back on it. I feel like that's what was going on with me.
yeah. I mean, you had a lot going on. You had to pass your test.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that was probably just.
Yeah. The crazy thing is like when I signed the contract, they were like, yeah, you got to take the test within 4 weeks. So I was like freaking out because I had to go from knowing nothing to knowing enough to pass. And then when I actually got into the seat and like talking to people, they're like, oh yeah, people usually take like 3 months to start studying that thing. I'm just like, oh, good to know. That's great. And so that like made me feel better. But for the first 2 weeks, I was like, dude, I have to take this in 4 weeks and
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look like an idiot and like fail it. And then like everybody's like, oh, here comes this guy. He's about to get fired after two more. So it was, yeah. Thankfully, after I passed the test, we were able to start doing more fun things.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, um, but the crazy thing is so we moved in June, and then so 6, 7, 8 months, COVID hit.
Mm-hmm. In March.
Yeah, so we're still kind of getting settled in a way, and then COVID hits where you pretty much can't go outside.
Yeah, I feel like we finally got into our groove. You know, you going to work, I go to work, come back, we make dinner,
Mm-hmm.
repeat. And then all of a sudden there's COVID. And then now you're working at home. And
Mm-hmm.
then I lost my job.
From
So,
COVID, yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah. So we were both stuck in the little
In this
box.
box with just each other, and it was actually uh pretty fun.
Surprisingly.
Surprisingly, it was like you hear about like people like getting divorced during COVID because like they actually have to be around this person way more than they have been.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, I feel like it was I had good memories of that time. I don't really think of any like bad ones that I can think of right now.
I don't think it was bad.
Yeah.
It was hard sometimes for
Yeah.
me. I mean, maybe for you too with working from home
Yeah.
in a little box. It's not the
Working from
easiest.
home, I'm like, hey, I got a Zoom meeting right now. We're in a box. Rachel's in the background doing TikTok dances. I'm like, hey, you can't do that right now. Like,
Or like I'm just trying to make food and you're like, hey, can you not heat that up right now?
yeah,
Can
calls
you
coming
not
in.
take a shower right now?
Yeah, not fun. Yeah, that part sucked for sure. But what was awesome is like after work, we would just play. When I say we, I'd play. What was I?
Red Dead.
Red Dead Redemption 2, and then you
Yeah.
would watch, and
I
you,
was emotionally invested.
yeah.
So it's like I was playing.
Yeah, so Rachel would be like, "Are we gonna play the game today?"
It was
I'm like, "Yeah," and you're
that
like,
was the
"Yes."
best time. That and then just eating snacks,
Mhm.
going on walks.
Yeah, we did go on walks a lot. Remember that cat across the street, Mulan? We named her
Mulan.
Mulan.
Yeah, now we have our own cat.
Yeah,
Oh, we should have named our cat Mulan. Why do we name her
because
Keiko's?
that one's Mulan.
Okay, but it wasn't ours.
And then we would try to get like turkey meat and like leave it for her to eat.
Some lunch meat.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, we'd go on walks, and then we would we would literally work, eat, play Red Dead Redemption 2
Mm-hmm.
because no one wanted to go to the store at that time.
Yeah,
It was like
it
if
was
we'd go
so
out,
scary.
yeah, if we go out, it was like a
No
mission.
toilet paper.
People, yeah, no toilet paper.
I would make TikToks. My day would go TikToks, lunch, walk, TikToks, lay in bed, watch TV.
All the snacks surrounded the bed.
While
I'm freaking a ball of stress trying to do
yeah.
this work, and she's just like,
It was the best time online shopping.
uh,
No, but you don't have any regrets moving in with me?
no. Yeah, if all the rest of the world were married and you have a baby now,
No, but
totally
I'm
regret.
just saying, well, like, or like maybe you're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have moved in
No,
so early, or if I could do this differently,
no,
and you weren't nervous at all.
no.
See, something's wrong with you.
I'm just like I don't put pressure on things. I just see them for what they are. Like I don't know. I feel like I had a healthy mindset going into it.
Because for most people, moving in with each other is like a big deal. Like that's a big step
Mm-hmm.
to take.
Yeah.
You know, like moving in with like a roommate is different, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you can leave, you're just friends, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But moving in with someone you're dating, that's
Mm-hmm.
like the next level.
Well, my thing is like I was already like I was if something would have happened where we just hated each other and you wanted to move back, like I would have been fine. Like financially, all that good stuff. So like uh like I didn't see it as that much of a risk.
You're just like, you just think so differently, and it's crazy because it's like, but from an emotional aspect, you're just
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, I didn't really think about it like that.
Like what's
You're
emotional about?
telling me like that's a big step. No,
Yeah, I never
don't
lived.
people
I
usually
never lived
like?
with a girl before.
Don't
Yeah.
people usually like they you date right for a couple years and then you're like, oh, do you want to spend the night in my apartment? Then you give her the key and then now she got a key, right?
Hmm.
And then after that, it's like, oh, why don't you just move in or why don't we move in together? Like that's the next step. And then from there, it's like now we're living together. So then maybe we get
Hmm.
engaged and then you're getting married. So that's like how it goes.
I see it from like a factual standpoint, like black and white, like physical, like for what it is.
Like
You
did
see
you
it.
think we were just like friends, like roommates then?
No, 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 no.
Cuz
You
like
see it in the eyes through a movie.
yeah.
I don't. That's the
So
difference.
how do you not see it as a movie? Because what if there's people out there who do want to move in with someone, but also like there is a big risk you
Hmm.
take. So how do you?
Is there though?
Yes,
What's the risk?
you get heartbroken. That's
Yeah,
the risk, and that hurts.
yeah, but that happens.
So how do you think about it differently? Is what I'm trying to ask.
I don't put expectations on stuff. I didn't have like expect like, oh, we're about to move in, about to get married. It was just like, okay, we're moving in. We both want to be here. It's not necessarily I'm moving out here because of you and you're moving out here because of me. It's because this is where we want to live always anyway.
So maybe that's the thing is sometimes people move in
Yeah. It's like, oh shoot, it's getting
because
serious. Like,
because if we were both in Michigan, we wouldn't be moving in together.
right.
But that's the thing. So people, like let's say they live in the same state
Mm-hmm.
and then they're moving in together
Mm-hmm.
in the same state
Mm-hmm.
that they were in.
Yeah.
So would you would think of it the same way? Would it be now like,
It'd be bigger.
oh,
It'd be a bigger deal.
would it be like now like, oh, we're just splitting rent. So it's
It'd
not
be a
that big
bigger
of a
deal.
risk.
It'd definitely be a bigger deal. But
How
at
so?
at the same time, it's not like you crossed a barrier, but doesn't mean that it's like you're for certain headed a different direction. It's always just like, okay, let's take the next step, see how it goes. Let's take the next step, let's see how it goes. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, oh, this is putting huge expectations on each move. It's just like take it for live today
Mm-hmm.
and see how it goes today. And if think with the understanding that things can change.
Yeah. So you're not like, oh, because we're moving in together now, like maybe in a year or two we'll get engaged.
Right. No. It was
Yeah.
like, all right, let's see how it goes.
Huh. I mean, I didn't think about that when we moved to California,
Yeah.
but I just thought it was like a scary step.
Hmm.
And I thought it was pretty
Well, that
risky.
was the first time you ever moved out of your parents, also.
That's true. It's not like I was, because going to the Philippines, it's like I knew I was coming back.
Hmm.
And then moving to California, like I took stuff with me.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, I'm not moving back anytime soon.
Yeah.
But that's what I was trying to say is like most people see it as a next big step.
Yeah. I think it for sure is, but maybe I just conceptualize it to where I'm kind of strip emotion away from it.
But
And
I think so too is like if you moved for your job, right? And I didn't want to move to California, but I was like, I'm moving for you. Like that's a big step on my end. Maybe not for you because you're like, either way, I'm moving for a job. But
mhm.
if I was moving there just because of you and then we broke up, I would be mad, you
But
know?
you weren't moving just because of me.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is like, that's the
Hmm.
difference.
Yeah.
Because I already wanted to go there and I was going to go there either way
Hmm.
in August.
See, I don't know if I agree with like I don't like that idea that you would move somewhere because of someone else and putting all of that responsibility on that someone else.
So what if you moved to
I don't think
Denver?
that's fair. Huh?
What if you moved to Denver?
Yeah, you said I ain't going. I was like, oh, well, I'm
Yeah,
going.
but you were like, "Oh, you're going to come here," which you probably were joking. But what if I moved to
Uh huh.
Denver because you were there?
Yeah, And but I wasn't like, you got to. I was like, hey, like, this is the deal. Like, if I'm going here, I gotta go.
Uh-huh.
So it's your decision, not
So
mine.
then now it's just it's on me, and it's the
Yeah, it's
risk
not
I'm
on
taking.
me. Like,
Yeah.
you can go, you can not go. Like, I understand either way,
Yeah.
and
I guess there's
it's like a
things
mature way of thinking about
I
it.
guess there's things too where it's like people move somewhere and then their partner comes
Hmm.
because if they don't, they break up.
Listen, I'm a huge believer of people living with the consequences of their decisions, and I feel like a lot of people make decisions and try to give the responsibility of the consequences on someone else. So my point, so basically what I'm saying is, if you moved, it was your choice, not mine.
Yeah.
So you own it, not
Hmm.
me. So like, if you move away for some, that's why I said I don't really like that idea that I moved here for you and now I'm not happy, it's your fault. No, you moved, and maybe you didn't understand all the things and the perspectives and all the things
Yeah.
that might happen, but that's not my fault, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's where you'd have to be clear and being like, if you want to move, that's your
And
choice.
what's the worst thing? It doesn't work out and you move back home. Like, life goes on, you got 70 more years.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, at the very, like, stripping emotion out of it, like, that is the worst case.
Adding emotion back, you're heartbroken.
Yeah,
And it
like,
sucks.
how
But
many people in this world are batting like 1 for 1 on dating and getting married and all that stuff? Like, very, very small percentage.
yeah.
So, like, at one point I thought, like, yeah, the first person I fall in love with, like, that's it. But like, after that was done, and like, then you just realize, okay, like, dating is just like, I mean, I always dated to marry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never dated. It was always like dating for a bigger purpose. Not, I
Hmm.
mean, I wasn't saying I'm going to marry this person,
Yeah.
but it was always like with,
Intention.
yeah, the
Hmm.
intention of like not want to waste my time with somebody. And
Hmm.
so I forget what I was going with that. Shoot.
I was gonna say something and then I forgot to. No, but
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Oh, what I was saying is, like, yeah, I dated for a purpose, but dude, I must be high.
at the end of the day, you just know if you break up, you're gonna be okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna get better.
Yeah. So like, dating or
Hmm.
whatever. Yeah. Like, let's see. My theory was always like, let's see how it goes. Okay, let's take a little step here. Let's push it a little bit farther. Let's see how it goes. And
Hmm.
then, like, if it wasn't going that way, or I, wasn't feeling it, or something, I saw something that I didn't like that I knew was going to be a long term problem, then like, it's done, and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I think you need to do a separate podcast on that because that's really insightful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I don't think a lot of people, and I want to say mostly women, but maybe guys too, I don't know, think like that.
Mm.
And I think if you express that,
Mhm.
that's like some good tips.
Well, through
But
sports, like, the thing I learned about sports, is stripping emotion from the decisions,
which is like hard to do. It's
which
like a
is extremely
skill
hard to do.
that you have
And
to
there has
learn.
been times in my life where emotions got the best of me, for sure. But through those times, I learned how more important it was. Because ultimately, I wanted to make good moves and smart moves, and so, yeah, through ups and downs, I kind of learned how to strip the emotion away from the decisions. And kind of like with you, you're like, it's a big move, it's a big move, and I'm
Hmm.
like, we're just taking a next step and seeing how it rolls and rolling with the punches, and it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out, and if it
Hmm.
works out, freaking sweet.
Yeah, that's not how I was thinking, but that would have been a good way to think about it like that.
And just think, if you put pressure on it, you're putting pressure on yourself, and you might not be your best version because you're freaking stressed about putting all the, like, people crumble when it comes to pressure.
Yeah.
So the more pressure you put on yourself, the you're giving yourself a lesser probability of it being successful, because you're not going to be your best version either.
Yeah. I think it's just hard when you want something to work out so much. That's why.
I mean, I get it
But
from your perspective. Like,
okay.
you were just like,
Okay.
oh shoot,
That's what you wish, but
Sydney,
okay.
Sydney.
Shout out to Sydney.
But yeah, I, for the so like both of our parents weren't fans of us moving in together uh, before marriage.
No. No, no, no.
And we're just like, well, is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of pros. It's like we split rent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we both wanted to live there anyway. So I was like, hey, there's this guy watching out for me in case something were to happen.
True. Throw these hands.
But it was hard to make that decision and be like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Because I don't like
going against your parents' wishes.
Yeah, even though I was, 23, 24.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I was like a respectable person too. I wasn't just some loser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was going out there for a job, for an opportunity, trying to make something of myself. Like they knew me enough to know that like I'm respectable and like I respect like I wasn't like going into their house and just like kicking down the couches and like
kicking the cats.
kicking the cats and just like swearing and just
Yeah.
being like foul mouthed and just like
Just being
just
rude.
being just like dumb.
Yeah. But I think it also helped with that my mom was someone who traveled a lot in the Philippines, and she could see that I was really passionate about my social media stuff. And with me going to the Philippines, and she's like, yeah, go to California, do it, which it was hard. And still she's not the biggest fan of, us living together.
Yeah.
But she understood that there was a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
So
we were both kind of going there to like better ourselves or better our passions or for like opportunities really. So it was much bigger than just like moving in with somebody. It was like
because if that was the case, we would have just stayed in Michigan.
Yeah, we moved out there to better our lives or really go after it. So it was like more than just like a hey, let's move to California just because
it's fun.
It's funny. We were both going out there for opportunities.
Yeah.
Now I just noticed that your headphones are like this one's supposed to be on your right ear.
Maybe that's why it's been feeling weird this entire time. Should I switch it right now?
Yeah, you should switch it because yeah.
Because why? Does it do something? I'll switch it.
Oh, it's just juju, really. I think this doesn't surprise me. Oh no. Ooh. Yeah. Oh. You didn't hear it on the headphones. It was like.
It's pregnancy brain, I swear.
Uh-huh.
That part right there this feels so much better. But that part right there would have been like a part I used in the YouTube video.
Yeah.
I just always have so many bloopers. But I was gonna ask you if you thought living with me helped you decide if you wanted to marry me.
Yes.
Really?
So
it's like a straight answer.
Well, yes. I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
But what if you did do it a different way?
Man, I just think that's risky.
Like, what if we were living in Michigan? Mm-hmm. We didn't live together because we're in Michigan.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. What would happen then?
I know. Like, I don't know, but I feel like
would we have to?
I
move
feel
in
like
together?
Living with somebody before you get married is the smartest decision, and that's like I said, stripping away the emotion, stripping away the religious aspects, just person to person. If you're going to marry someone, you want to know them as best as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the only way that you can truly know all the quirks, all the little things, all the annoying little things, all the good things, the bad, big, small, whatever, is if you're with someone and live with somebody. and see how they take care of themselves, see how they take care of their surrounding areas.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Seeing them on a bad day, seeing them off day.
But
If you're having a bad day, you're like, I'm just gonna stay home and not come over. No, you're here when you're having a bad day. You're here when you're having a good day. To
mhm.
truly get to know somebody, you got to see them at their rawest forms. And I feel like the only way to do that is when you live with somebody.
Yeah.
And if you do it and you find out all these things after you're married, that's when you're like, crap.
But maybe that's why people go to couples therapy. You know.
Which they could have saved themselves a bunch of money if they just lived with each other before.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I guess that's true because I was gonna say, like, what if, you had your own place?
Mhm.
What if I just kept coming over,
But like I said,
started staying
like,
over?
oh, I'm sick today, or I'm not feeling good today, or I'm having a bad day. Like I'm just gonna stay here and not
But
come over.
that's what I was thinking is like the time that when we were in the same apartment,
Mm-hmm.
like living together, and then I went to the bathroom to
Mm-hmm.
just, have my alone time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I was just visiting you at your apartment, I would have been like, okay, I'm going to go home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then on top of that, that's something that was good that happened. Now think about if you just didn't go into the bathroom and was just like maturely like did something like that was a good move, right? But
mhm,
someone that is not as strong would have just freaked out and it would just been like a bunch of tension and da 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 going
mhm.
back and forth. It's like uh you had an issue.
Because I didn't want to cause drama.
You didn't want to cause drama. So like and then we probably talked about it or
No.
no.
This was before you started giving me some advice.
Oh, on
I
talking about things.
Yeah, on like how to communicate. I was just want to be alone.
Yeah. Well, I'm a straight shooter, so like I appreciate when people are like straight shooters with me. So that was like the first thing. I was like, "Hey, if you have an issue, just talk about it. Like tell me about it." I'm a person that takes like criticism pretty well, I like to think. And I when someone says they have an issue, I look at it from their point of view and try to understand. I seek to understand before getting like defensive and all that stuff. So when I told you like, "Hey, just tell me."
Mhm.
I think that was when it was just like, "Okay." Like, "All right."
Yeah. It wasn't easy though.
No.
It took like lots of practice.
Yeah.
I feel like finally now I can be like, I can tell you like, hey, you're doing a little too much.
Which never happens because you're like, "Dude, you're freaking awesome."
Oh, but like last night you were doing a lot, and I was like, Nick, you need to calm down because I just need it to be quiet.
I came in, I was hype.
You just kept talking, which is fine. I'm probably like that
I
too,
was
but
talking to the cat, all right? Me and the cat were
you
having a
were
private conversation and you were rudely eavesdropping on it.
private conversation, making sure I knew what you were talking about with her. So stupid.
I was having a great time.
Yeah, but I think I agree.
But then I was like, "Oh, okay."
But I also didn't want to be rude.
That didn't make me feel bad.
Yeah, but then on purpose you'll be like, okay, then I won't talk anymore. I'll just be boring, and I don't like that. I just need you to tone it down.
No, I just do that just to be funny. I don't really get
But I think living with your partner
sad.
was a good idea. At first, I never wanted to do that ever.
Yeah. Well, that's
Hmm.
because the religious part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but also like I guess just putting the emotions into it and being like, oh no, if we broke up and we bought all these things together and
It's like people think that they once they get past a certain threshold that you can't go back. And
well, there's a weird stigma too with like the people who are like in the church or who are very religious, I guess.
hmm,
Like I know of some people who did move together, whether they're married or not, whatever. and then they go backwards and they break up or something. And then it's just like, ooh, did you see that? She was with him and then they moved in together and then now they broke up.
Yeah, they found out before they got married. Freaking smart. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
See, but that's the thing
Oh.
about me is like I could care. I don't care about what
So then
like
what's
about those people.
so then what about the thing where it says like couples are more likely to get into a divorce? Wait, the couples who live together before a marriage are more likely to get into a divorce than couples who don't live together until they are married.
I'd like to see how that study was ran
I don't know,
because it's
but
still 50% regardless.
no, I've seen it. It said more. It was like 70% or something. Like you're 70% more likely to get a divorce.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that myself. Like, how many people do they poll?
I don't know.
Like 5?
I don't know.
And it could just be some propaganda stats going on there.
This is where we need like an assistant. Like, hey, can you look that up for me real quick?
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I'm saying. Like, oh yeah, we polled 100 people from Omaha, Nebraska, middle of nowhere, and now every like a small sample size, and that is supposed to give us the answers.
Or they probably got one from like Utah. Wait.
Yeah, the Mormon church.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
After I said Utah.
They're like, yeah, absolutely. Everybody freaking divorces if they get move in together before marriage. That is the wrong way to do it.
Because
Sure.
they all get married super young.
Yeah, or whatever it may be.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Do they?
Yeah.
I think like any religion, or like
No.
people who go to the army.
Yeah.
They get married super young too.
Yeah. I don't know. I just heard that.
If you just strip away that stuff, if you strip away the emotion, you strip away what other people think, and it's just like, I don't know, if you think about it logically, I rather find out early than find out before you get married. That's how I think. And I took my time. I mean,
but how do people do it who don't live together? And they have a successful marriage.
it just worked out.
I feel like we could have done that.
Probably. We kind of did. We moved out here to live in a box and got through COVID. It was like a super happy time, COVID.
No,
lockdown.
I'm saying like I feel like we could have lived separately and then gotten married and it would have been fine.
I don't know. I feel like both of us are like easy people to be around. Like we're both not trying to be like mean. Like our intentions are always like very pure. And
I think you just would have had reservations and it would have taken you longer to propose.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I never thought of that as like a step though.
Oh my goodness.
I never thought of it as a step, but it's just like
it's never a step for Nick.
I don't know, man. When I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm like, if we never lived together, I do think it would take you longer to propose.
Probably
like another year.
Because I'd have to like know for sure, and the quickest way to know someone for sure is be around them in their rawest form.
Yeah, but don't you just know when you want to marry someone? Because I knew.
You also watch 90 Day Fiance, Rachel.
Oh, it's such a good show.
You're like, this is for sure real. Sometimes you just know. You only need 90 days. That's it. They're about to get married.
No, that show is not like that. You would know if you watched. It's the other shows that are on Netflix right now.
What's that?
Like Perfect Match.
Oh.
We got like a week or a couple weeks. Or like Marriage at First Sight or something.
Yeah. I don't know.
So then what are some tips you could give for people who want to move out? Whether they're alone or moving in with roommates or a partner.
What do you mean?
Like, what would your advice be if I was like, hey, Nick, what if it was like me? I was 16. No,
Mm-hmm.
just kidding, not 16. That's too young.
Mm-hmm.
If I was like in my 20s,
Mm-hmm.
after college or maybe in college, who knows? And I'm like, hey, Nick, I want to move out. What
Mm-hmm.
are some things I should do to prepare myself to move out? Whether it's just me by myself or I'm moving in
Mm-hmm.
with my boyfriend or with some roommates.
Number one, be self-sufficient. Can you make yourself a meal? Can you do the laundry? Can you clean your place? Like the basics. Like there's people that moved out for the first time and their mom was doing their laundry and now they're like don't know what they're doing. Or there's people that only know how to do like frozen meals. They can't even like cook themselves a meal
Mm-hmm.
in college and stuff. And I would think being independent, self-sufficient. Number two, from day one, you sit down with your roommates and set the ground rules
Mm-hmm.
together. So there's no like, hey, I don't that there's that weird thing. So it's just like sit down at the table, be like, this is what I expect, like this is what I think the rules should be or whatever, and like follow them. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you're just like, oh, this dude's not doing the dishes, like when do I talk? When do I tell him? When do I
Yeah.
tell him? When
It
do
gets
I tell him?
awkward.
When do I tell him? When do I tell him? Like it's like, dang. So like if you're like, all right, man, like for real, like just be curious. Like if it's a common, for example, if it's a common area like a living room, make sure it's clean. Like don't have a bunch of your dishes and stuff like on the coffee table and not taking care of it. Like if it's a share, if you can do whatever you want in your room,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's a shared place, it's a shared place, and respect the other people in this house and make sure like you clean up after yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like I would say like sit down right away and lay out the ground rules so it's not awkward later.
What do you do about groceries? I've always wondered that because when we moved, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't sure if we were going to be splitting or if
Mm-hmm.
it was like, hey, you buy your own, I buy my own.
Yeah.
Or if there's like common household things like milk and eggs that we share, but
Yeah.
anything else, it was mine.
No, I feel like if you're going to college, like I think the best thing is like just to pay for your own crap
What about if you're not in college and you're an adult
and you're moving
with the
in with
partner?
like your significant other.
Sure. Or even
I feel
just
like
like your best friend.
your best friend.
Yeah. What do you do?
I don't know. I feel like if it's your significant other, then like you're a team and you share the stuff. But I just feel like splitting it up is always probably the best. Like if it's just someone else than your significant other. Now it's like your brother, then like whatever, but or sister or family
Mm-hmm.
member. But like just like your friend or something, I think it's always best to split it because or like this is my stuff, this is your stuff.
Yeah. Like you mark
So
your
like
stuff.
one person like is just like smashing all the food that you just like bought and you never got like any of it. Like there's
Yeah.
so many things that can go wrong. And like maybe some people make more money than other people. Like I want the expensive crap, but I can't afford the expensive crap. And what kind of
Mm-hmm.
goes on. So I mean, yeah, like I would say split it up, but like obviously, like, hey, do you want to have like this tonight? Like, I'm about to make this or whatever you want. Something like, there's always those times, but I think the safest bet is always to split it up. Like, if you're just,
Mm-hmm. With
yeah,
roommates.
yeah,
Like, do you split bread? Or
yeah, everything.
or like, I mean, do you like if we were just roommates,
Hmm.
I buy bread, would you buy your own bread?
Yeah,
And you write your name on it? Because
yeah.
I've never
Or you
lived
have
in
like
it.
your own cupboard. Like, this is my cupboard.
Or like
This
in the
is your
fridge,
cupboard.
it'd be like, oh, the top shelf is
Yeah,
mine.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then what about money wise? Like before you move out,
What do you mean?
saving money?
That's your own. Your money is your money. What do you mean?
No, I'm just saying, like, how do you prepare? Because obviously you moved out on your own before.
Hmm. Well, you got to learn how to do a balance sheet.
Because when I moved out with you, I like had what I had,
Hmm.
but I've never moved out by
Well,
myself.
I kind of ran the numbers before we moved out to
Mm.
see what kind of place we could afford. Would we still be able to save money? Like, am I just going to be paycheck to paycheck? So that was like a no. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure that I wasn't stressing about money. Like, I could pay for my stuff and give me some cushion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say is crunch the numbers, put all your bills on one thing, get good estimates of like gas and stuff, and give yourself a good cushion just in case, you're wrong. You can't be wrong so far wrong. So get a good idea, give yourself a good cushion. Um, and then with that cushion, maybe have some money in your savings.
Mm-hmm.
And then so if, like I said, like I crunched the numbers enough and we got a box place and it was an affordable place. But like the reason why we stayed there and not try to just like go paycheck to paycheck because of that stress, like you're about to start a new relationship, like you started a new relationship, moved into someone with 6 months, you're going to live paycheck to paycheck, stressed about money. And then
Mm-hmm.
you think it's going to go well. No.
Or
So,
any
or
relationship,
any
like
relationship.
if you've been together for like a couple years,
Yeah.
still money
hmm
stress.
So, and like I said, if it didn't go well, and you like we broke up and you decided to move home, I could
Mm-hmm.
still afford to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't like going over my budget. I was still independent on myself. So I wasn't depending on someone else to help me pay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or and stuff like that. So I would say, save up a good amount of money, crunch the numbers, give your good estimate, but also give you a cushion just in case something were to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just to be safe, because if you're smart, you shouldn't have to worry about money. Like I don't have a super nice car. I mean, it's a solid car, but it's not like some crazy fancy. Like the one thing that I don't ever want to do is worry about money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. I've always been. Um, I've never really worried about money ever because I was always like lived underneath my means.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're moving out for the first time, maybe you don't get the baller suite.
Mm-hmm.
Get something good that's a good budget, and then you could always you know get something better later on. Like for us, it was like the first place, so I was like, all right, let's hang out here. This is a good price. Like it's fairly like nice. It's small, but it's nice. It's fine.
Yeah. Plus,
And
we wanted to make sure we actually liked the place we were living in. You liked your
yeah,
job.
yeah. So it wasn't like we were taking a risk, but we were able to mitigate risk based on the decisions we had. So, and then we eventually like moved to a better place, and then after that it was a better place, and then after that it was a better place. So like we started from something
Mm-hmm.
small, but as we progressed and stuff like that, we were able to get a better and better and better place, and that started from a solid foundation
Mm-hmm.
that we kind of set.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any other tips?
um
I
I don't
don't know.
know. There's just like a lot of interpersonal things.
Moving out by yourself for the first time is just so crazy. Like I've always wanted to move out in college,
Mm-hmm.
and like live that life. So you're with roommates, and then you
Mm-hmm.
buy your own groceries, and you got your own space.
Yeah, I didn't really have like that type of. I mean, I did a little bit, but I pretty much lived at home for most of my
Mm-hmm.
college days. Like 1 year, I lived with friends, but
I think moving out by yourself too, or whether you're with someone else, is nice because it's like you feel independent, like more independent
mm-hmm.
than living at home, especially when you're in your 20s, because it's like now I can do what I want and no one's watching me.
Mm-hmm.
I can go out, I can come back home anytime. Like that's how I felt living in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I was with my cousin, I just felt nice to be able to like, hey, you want to go out?
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know, go to
Just
the
do whatever you
movies, like
want.
yeah, and then come back later. Like no one was like, where are you? Come back home. It's getting late.
Uh-huh.
So like that is nice, and that's why I think people should move out of their parents' house if they can and they have the means to,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's with friends or a partner or by yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
just think there's a lot of growth
For
that comes
sure.
into it, and I always encourage my siblings to move out eventually because you just learn so much and there's so many places to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think that being independent is the only way to truly be like happy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the only way to truly be confident is to stand on your own 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So when you move out on your own and you're the only person you can blame if it doesn't work out is you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having that pressure and being to succeed and survive in that pressure, that gives you confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of growth, but a lot of good can come out of it, even with that pressure or whatever. You're gonna have to figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
So I've always been a pretty independent person, I think.
I mean, it might be just me making it a movie in my head, but it's like when you move out for the first time and then you finally feel like an adult, you know? You're like,
What's that Miley Cyrus song?
um,
Everybody looks so famous.
oh, the Party in the USA?
Yeah, that's like you. Like on a convertible. Just like
Oh, just moving to California. You're
see
like,
the
oh,
Hollywood sign.
this is where I need to be. No, but really, like, I just think about it now, like how I know some people who are in their maybe early to going to mid 20s. Like, I would have been that person too. Like, I was dead set on not moving until I got married or something like that. Cause I'm like, why? I have my parents' house, they got food, I ain't got to pay bills, you know, there's a car, like, I can save money. But then it wasn't until when I like moved to the Philippines for a bit, it was just so refreshing. And then moving here was even better. And I was like, wow, there's a whole another life.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like people who do stay home, which is nothing bad if you stay home. You know, like
No, most people do.
yeah, it's good. Save
days.
money. But if you do want a little like I don't know, independence, a breath of fresh air.
Like I say, there's consequences
Even
to all decisions.
even if it's just for a couple months, you don't gotta move out and never come back home.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like that's what I would encourage our daughter to do. I'd be like, go, but come back if you want, but also go explore. And I think that's what my mom did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And then when it actually comes time, we're gonna be like,
well, yeah, my mom was sad too when she was like, yeah, go to the Philippines. And then I was like, hey, bye. And then we were saying bye. Like it's on my vlog if you want to look at it. But like we were both like sad and tearing up. But like she was like, go explore, you know, live your life while you're young.
That's good.
But yeah,
that's good. All right, that is it for the. I think this is the 9th episode.
Yeah.
9th episode. It's been over 2 months now. It's been really great. So another one down, another one bites the dust.
Yeah. If you want to follow me, I have a TikTok.
Yeah, plug it. What's the thing?
Where I show a lot of pregnancy content because that's what I'm going through right now. So if you can relate or you're interested.
Let's just be clear right now. Rachel's really good at this thing called social media. She has 3 videos recently that have gone over 1 million views. And I'm over here trying to get like 300.
Yeah, but slow and steady wins the race. That's what I've learned.
Yes.
So you build organic views. But anyway.
True. What's the page?
The Rachel Ashley.
On TikTok,
on all my socials, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. But TikTok is more fun, and that's where I feel like I can just be myself and just be myself.
Yeah, really. There was one TikTok that you did where you turned the camera to me eating pizza, and I looked like a psychopath. I'm like,
oh yeah, that's on Instagram too.
So how many views does that one have?
Almost 1 million, over 900,000.
I look like an idiot.
People say he looks like a girl.
Yeah, dude. Is that a girl?
They're like, is that your man? I'm like, no, it's not my man.
All I'm doing is
like he's literally just smiling. Yeah. That's it, holding a piece of pizza. I don't understand it, but you know.
Bots. I am pretty, but anyway. So that's it. Episode 9 of the Nick vs. Everyone podcast. Thanks for joining. And until next time. Peace, y'all.